All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's lesson, introducing univariate statistics. I know you're super excited, really into data right now. I don't know if you've been looking at like graphs and stuff recently because pandemic. But yeah, there's a whole lot of numbers being thrown around, and we're gonna be learning about statistics, which is data set analysis. And so this is a great time for it to be learning about it. It's nothing like real life to kind of punch you in the face and realize that you should know some of your math stuff to help you understand the world around you. Anyway, you should have this note paper and the assignment handy. This lesson's going to be pretty short because it's got a lot of how to do stuff. It's got a lot of statistics that calculators get for you. So basically today's lesson is, can you put data in a calculator and have the calculator tell you the right numbers? And then can you write them down? And that's pretty much the theme. But yeah, let's dive right in. So you need to remember some of your statistics from a previous year or previous years. Usually people have gotten the average before. The average is also called the mean. Mean, median, mode just kind of go together instead of average, median, mode. That's that alliteration. But average and mean mean the same thing. To get average, you add up all the numbers and divide by how many numbers are. And we're going to do an example of this next. The next vocab term to know is the median. That's the middle number. To find that number, you have to put the data set from least to greatest and then find the middle number. If there's two numbers in the middle, like there's not one specific number, you're going to average the two middle-est numbers together. You add them together and divide by 2. The next one's mode. It's just a number in the data set that shows up the most. And then there's range. Range meaning how far is it between the lowest value and the highest value. So you do the max number minus the min number. So let's look at some examples, and these are already on your notes. But here's your example. Let's say you have this data set and you want to get the mean or average. You're going to add up all those numbers together. That'll equal 51. There's 9 of these numbers, so you do 51 divided by 9, and you'll get about 5.67. There's going to be a lot of rounding during this unit, and so we're just going to keep it standard around to the second decimal place. So yeah, when you get things from your calculator that has infinitely long decimals, just do second decimal place rounding. The meaning of this is going to be 5, and you can just kind of count in from the sides to find your middle number here. 5, hey, they both landed on 5, and voila, you got 5. If there wasn't, say, this number here, and you count in from both sides, you do need to be aware that if there's no number here in the middle, you can find it by adding this together and dividing by 2. If you add them together, you get 12. Divide by 2, you get 6. So the median in that case would be 6. I just want to show you if we didn't have an odd number data set. The mode on this is both 5 and 9. They show up the same amount. 5 shows up twice, 9 shows up twice, nothing else shows up twice. And so there's 5 and 9. If there wasn't a second 5 and a second 9, there'd be no mode. So none of the numbers repeat, just put no mode, and that's fine. Some of the problems on your assignment do that. And then the range on this is going to be 9, because the biggest number is 10, smallest number is 1. You subtract them, 10 minus 1, you get 9. Alright, so that's all well and good. But we, since you're in a 9th grade math class, you get to explore a new statistic. We're bringing up something that's used a ton. Like, it's a really, 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 really important statistic in, people who do statistics, like scientists and engineers and marketing people and businesses and data scientists and, presidents of the United States, people who make decisions about the world. They need to understand data. They have to understand what standard deviation is. And standard deviation is a measurement of how spread out the data is. Tomorrow on the next lesson, you're going to be kind of exploring what that means a little bit more, but today you're just calculating it. So this is a formula. You don't have to understand what this means. But basically, let me quickly try to explain what it means after I'm telling you don't need to know that. This big old symbol is called the square root symbol. Yay, square root. This E here is capital sigma, and it means the summation of all these numbers, which those numbers, this is an index, and it starts at 1, goes up to n, and this little symbol here is mu, and that stands for the average, and this is just a number in your data set, so you take every number in the data set, subtract your average, and then you square that, and you do that for every data set, number in the data set, and then you add them all up, and you divide by one less than how many numbers there are, and then you square root that number. It's a mess, okay? Getting standard deviation by hand sucks. Let me tell you what, it sucks. I had to do it in college. Unfun. Definitely not a fun thing to do. But luckily, you do not need to do it by hand. You get to use a calculator. And so, depending on your situation at home, there are online calculators that can do this. There are the graphing calculators that we've been using in class. Maybe you have an older sibling with a graphing calculator. Those do it. And based on what calculator you have, or whether you're doing an online one, the directions change based on that. So pull up the appropriate directions based on what you have available. But basically, you put the numbers in, and then you tell the calculator to give you the numbers you're looking for. And so on this one, say I had this data set, if you're putting it in one of those graphing calculators, you have screens looking like these. This is what it looks like when you have the data in there. Again, you don't need to memorize these directions right now if you don't have a calculator, one of those graphing ones, because it's different. But basically, you put it in, you tell the calculator to spit you out a bunch of numbers, and if we were in class, you'd be looking at a screen like this. And the one we're going to be using for standard deviation is SX. There are multiple kinds of standard deviations, but the thing you need to know is we're going to be using sample standard deviation, which in this case is SX. There's also population standard deviation, which is a slightly different equation, gives you a slightly different number. You can see that on there, but we're going to be doing sample standard deviation on all our stuff, and you can see calculate instructions in a different video or the notes there I have for you. But let's have you take a moment, pull out your assignment, and test out getting standard deviation. Get the mean, median, and mode, and then the standard deviation. So in all these problems, you need to get your mean, you need to get your median, you need to get your mode, and you need to get your standard deviation. So whatever calculator you have available to you, whether it's online or the graphing calculators, put this data set in, get the mean, median, mode, and standard deviation, and then go ahead and round down. I'll have you check in a sec. One quick thing. The graphing calculators do not get mode for you, but mode's really easy. Look through the data set and find the number that shows up the most. So pause the video, calculate these things, and see if you, we'll have you check back in a sec. So go ahead and check your answers. Did you get these? Did you get your average is 34.7, median's 29, mode's 29, and the standard deviation is 22.94. If you didn't get this one, you might have gotten a different standard deviation, so make sure you're double checking. Again, in my other video, I try to explain, the correct one to get. But let's have you try out another one. Go to number 2. Again, get your mean, median, mode, and standard deviation. Pause the video. Come back and check. Did you get 72.2? 80. This one actually has 2 modes of 78 and 91. It's because 91 and 78 both show up twice. And the standard deviation is 23.11. All right, let's have you do one more. Pause the video, put number 3 in, and let's see if you're getting the right numbers. All right, your mean on this should be 61.5. Median should be 60. Mode, again, there's 2 of them. There's 34 and 94. And then the standard deviation you should be getting is 25.45. If you're getting these, go ahead and finish up the assignments pretty quick. You put the data in, and then you can get your numbers from either your graphing calculator or an online calculator. And yeah, good luck with it.